in Stoic Men Tribe. Today we're tapping into a powerful truth, a moment of inner strength, sharp clarity and timeless wisdom. Don't skip any part of this video. Share your thoughts in the comment. Please do us a favor by hitting the subscribe button, like and turn on notifications, so you never miss an update. Let's break it down. Stay silent. Let karma handle it. There is a quiet power in this world, a strength that goes largely unnoticed, rarely celebrated or acknowledged. It is not the power of words, nor the power of loud actions. It is not the kind of strength that seeks the spotlight or craves recognition. It is not boastful, nor does it demand applause from others. This power is humble, subtle, and most importantly, it does not chase after the fleeting satisfaction of revenge. This power lies in silence. When the world tries to knock you down, when you find yourself wounded by others' cruelty or betrayal, your instinct, your gut reaction is to rise up. It's to fight back, to defend yourself, to expose the lies, to shout the truth until the world has no choice but to hear you. It feels almost impossible to remain still in the face of such injustice, to let your pain go unspoken, your truth unacknowledged. And yet, there is another response, a quieter one. It's the wisdom that has grown inside of you, forged through the fires of past pain and hardship. It is the voice of a soul that has been hurt, yes, but has also learned how to endure, how to rise again, how to outlast the storm. That voice whispers in moments of deepest hurt, when you feel the weight of the world pressing against you, when you know that your character, your reputation, and your worth are being questioned, misrepresented, and torn apart. It doesn't scream or shout. It doesn't demand attention or vindication. It simply speaks with a quiet, unshakable certainty. Stay silent. Let karma handle it. You might wonder why. Why not fight? Why not stand up for yourself, correct the lies, or prove your worth? The answer lies in a deeper understanding of the nature of justice, of what it truly means to be right. You've come to know that justice is not always immediate. It does not always arrive in the form of a loud confrontation or a public declaration. There's a difference between what the world thinks is just and what is truly just. The world may tell you that the one who shouts the loudest, the one who exposes the most, is the one who wins. But true justice, it doesn't need to be spoken. It doesn't need to be seen. It has its own way of unfolding, its own rhythm, its own time. When you stay silent, you are not surrendering. You are not admitting defeat. You are acknowledging a deeper truth. That sometimes the best response is no response at all. The world will come to understand in time. The truth will rise whether you speak it or not. The ones who tried to harm you, who tried to break you, will eventually face their own consequences. Karma is not something to fear. It is something to trust. It operates on its own timeline, and it delivers with a precision that human hands cannot match. When you stay silent, when you refuse to be dragged into the noise of petty conflict, you give space for karma to work its magic. It has a way of making sure that justice is served, even if it takes time, even if it seems to move in mysterious ways. And so, you stay silent, you wait, not because you are weak or because you are afraid, but because you know something the world often forgets. True strength doesn't always have to make noise. True power doesn't need to fight for attention. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is to let go and trust that the universe, in its own way, will balance the scales. The people who hurt you, the ones who sought to tear you down, they will meet their own reckoning. Whether it happens today, tomorrow, or years from now, it will come. And when it does, you will stand strong, unshaken by the chaos that tried to undo you, because you stayed silent. You let karma handle it. And in doing so, you allowed yourself to remain anchored in your truth, unshaken by the winds of conflict and unbothered by the noise of the world, like ripples on water, coming back to where they began. This realization, this deep truth, settles in your bones with quiet certainty. What goes around truly does come around. It's not just some vague idea or a comforting thought. It's the law of the universe in motion. What others put out into the world, whether it's kindness or cruelty, honesty or lies, generosity or greed, it all finds its way back, eventually. For some, this truth is a harsh awakening, especially when it's their own misdeeds or mistakes that come knocking at the door. But for others, it's a relief, a release, and ultimately, an understanding. Because once you grasp this, you stop feeling the desperate need to chase after things that once seemed so important, things that were never really yours to control in the first place. And so, you let go. You stop seeking closure from people who have never offered you honesty, who have never given you the truth in the first place. There's no need to beg for explanations from those who have always been unwilling to give them. It becomes clear that closure doesn't come from others. It comes from within. You no longer wait for people to see your side of the story, to validate your feelings, or to acknowledge your truth. You understand that sometimes people are simply incapable of doing so. And that's not your burden to carry. Instead, you release the weight of needing their approval, their recognition, or their understanding. You stop wasting your time pleading for something they cannot give. What you need now is peace, not validation from the outside world. And you've learned that peace is something you must create for yourself. You also stop pouring your energy into battles that lead nowhere. The endless conflicts, the petty arguments, the pointless debates, they no longer hold any power over you. You see them for what they are. Noise. Noise that consumes your energy. Noise that distracts you from your higher purpose. Noise that keeps you in a state of conflict and chaos when all you really want is calm, clarity, and growth. And so, you step away from it all. You stop engaging in battles that have no reward. You begin to recognize the futility of trying to prove yourself in places that will never accept you. You stop fighting for recognition, for approval, or for the illusion of victory. You've come to understand that true victory is not about defeating others or getting the last word. It's about finding peace within yourself, regardless of what others say or do. In this space of understanding, you make a deliberate choice. You choose peace, not as a passive resignation to the world around you, but as an active decision to prioritize your own inner tranquility. You choose to release the things that once held you captive. The grudges, the need for revenge, the desire to be understood by those who would never try to understand you. Choosing peace means embracing the reality that you cannot control everything, nor do you need to. It means letting go of the need to fix every situation, to make everything right, or to force outcomes into alignment with your desires. You begin to understand that life doesn't owe you anything. The universe doesn't work on your timeline, and people don't act according to your expectations. But what you can control is your response. You can choose to let go, to breathe, to rise above the noise. When you choose peace, you start to realize that the energy you once poured into other people's dramas, their issues, and their misunderstandings is now being channeled back into yourself. You focus on what you can nurture, your own growth, your own well-being, your own peace of mind. You no longer feel the need to convince the world of your worth, because you've come to know it in your heart. You begin to recognize the power in silence, the strength in stillness. You begin to embrace the fact that not every situation requires a response. Not every hurt needs to be confronted. Not every injustice needs to be corrected by your hand. You've learned that there is a natural order to things, and sometimes the best thing you can do is to step back and let life take its course. What goes around truly does come around. People may forget the kindness you have shown, the loyalty you've given, or the love you've poured into the world, but it will come back to you. It may not come in the form you expect, and it may not come from the people you hoped would return it, but it will come. Life has a way of balancing itself out, of making sure that the energy we put into the world returns to us, one way or another. And in that quiet, peaceful understanding, you find your true power. The power to walk away from the noise, to let go of the need for closure, and to choose peace as your foundation. When you stop chasing after the approval of others, when you stop wasting your energy on battles that don't matter, you create the space for something much more valuable. The freedom to live your life on your own terms, with grace, strength, and a deep, unwavering sense of inner peace. This is the peace that will carry you through. It is the peace that grows from within, untouchable by the chaos around you. It is the peace that comes from knowing that life is always moving, always balancing itself, and that what you put out into the world, whether it's kindness, love, or simply silence, will always find its way back to you in the end. There comes a point in your life when you realize that the most powerful thing you can do in the face of betrayal, hurt, and injustice is to focus on your own growth. You make the conscious decision to build. You choose to build your life, your future, your peace, regardless of the storms that others have tried to cast into your path. You decide that the foundation of your existence will be rooted in strength, in healing, and in elevation. You choose to heal because, while the wounds may have been inflicted by others, it is you who must carry the responsibility of mending them. You refuse to let the past define you, to let the actions of those who chose to betray you become the chains that keep you bound to a version of yourself that no longer serves you. You know that healing is not an overnight process, but rather a gradual unfolding of your own resilience. It is a commitment to understanding your pain, processing it, and ultimately releasing it so that you can step into a version of yourself that is whole, grounded, and unshakable. You choose to elevate, not for the sake of proving anything to anyone, but because you know that your true power lies in your ability to rise above the noise. You choose to elevate to heights so high that the things and people that once tried to bring you down can no longer reach you. The betrayal, the lies, the pain, all of it starts to feel small and distant, like a shadow that no longer holds the power to shape your reality. You understand that elevation is not about arrogance or seeking revenge, but about transcending the negativity of others. It's about becoming someone who cannot be touched by the toxicity that once threatened to drown you. Because here's the truth. The ones who have wronged you, who have betrayed your trust, who have taken advantage of your love and loyalty, they know exactly what they did. They may try to deny it. They may twist the truth to suit their own narrative. They may laugh it off, pretend that it was never a big deal, act as though it never happened at all. They may even go so far as to make you question your own perception of reality, casting doubt on your experience, your emotions, and your truth. But deep down in the quiet recesses of their own conscience, they know. They know exactly what they did to you, and they know exactly how they tried to break you. And here's where the real shift happens. You no longer need them to acknowledge their actions. You no longer need an apology, or an explanation, or a recognition of their wrongs. You've come to realize that your peace is not contingent on their admission of guilt. It doesn't matter whether they ever own up to their actions, because you know your worth, and you know the truth of what happened. You also know that the universe has a way of balancing itself out, whether they acknowledge it or not. One day they will feel it, not by your hands, not by your words, not by any action you take. You've let go of the desire to make them feel the same pain they caused you. You've let go of the desire to see them suffer in the same way you did. You've released the need for them to get their comeuppance from your doing, because you understand that the greatest form of justice is simply living a life that is untouchable by their actions. They will feel it by the life they live, by the consequences of their choices, by the relationships they destroy, by the emptiness they may feel deep within, because a life built on dishonesty and betrayal cannot be sustained forever. It will begin to crack, to falter, to unravel at the seams. They may not see it at first, but eventually they will. They will feel it when the people they hurt move on, leaving them in their wake, unable to find peace or true connection. They will feel it when the world in its own way reflects back to them the energy they put out into it. A world that eventually catches up to them, holds them accountable, and shows them the cost of their actions. They may try to bury it, ignore it, or distract themselves from it, but deep down, they will know. They will know that the consequences of their betrayal have seeped into every corner of their life, slowly poisoning the relationships they still try to hold on to, the trust they have lost, and the inner peace they can no longer find. And you? You will be living a life of elevation, free from the weight of their lies and betrayal, untethered by the need for their validation. You will have built something beautiful, something that cannot be touched by the darkness they tried to impose upon you. you will have healed, you will have grown, and you will have risen. You will be standing so tall that nothing from your past can ever bring you down again. Because in the end, the greatest revenge is not in the retribution we seek against others, but in the life we choose to create for ourselves. It's in the power of healing, of building, of elevating to heights where no one can reach you, and where the echoes of their betrayal can no longer hurt you. The universe, in its own quiet way, will make sure that everything they put out, every lie, every hurt, every betrayal, finds its way back to them. And when that day comes, you will be free. Karma is not always as immediate as we might hope. It doesn't always strike like a bolt of lightning, swift and sharp, delivering instant justice. No, sometimes karma takes its time. It doesn't rush to correct the wrongs that have been done. Instead, it moves at its own pace, unfolding in its own way. And in this quiet patience, it has a powerful lesson to teach us, that the universe doesn't need to act hastily, because the truth has its own timing. For a while, the guilty ones go about their lives, thinking they've escaped, thinking they've somehow gotten away with their actions. They might even grow comfortable in their deceit, in their betrayals, in the hurt they've caused. They laugh at your pain, walk away without a second thought, and continue their lives as though nothing ever. Unaffected by the noise of their presence, unmoved by the weight of their falsehoods, you will come to understand something vital. Justice was never yours to carry out, because the universe, in its quiet, patient way, has always known how to restore balance. There will be seasons in life when everything seems to turn against you, when those you trusted twist the truth, when people who once stood beside you begin to distort your name, shaping falsehoods into stories they can pass around with ease. They will craft lies, project their guilt, and try to bury your truth under layers of deception. They'll smile as they whisper behind your back, mock what they can't understand, and pretend as though their actions have no weight. Some will even carry themselves as if they've defeated you, as though their betrayal, their abandonment, their manipulation has stripped you of your worth. But here's what you must remember with unshakable certainty. Let them believe it. Let them convince themselves they've won. Let them wrap themselves in the illusion of their temporary triumph. Let them enjoy their moment in the sun, their false sense of superiority. Let them look at you through the lens of their ego and assume you are broken, silent because you've been crushed. In truth, your silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. Your stillness is not surrender, it is strength. Your restraint is not retreat. It is the quiet confidence of someone who no longer needs to prove anything. Because what they don't realize is that they never held power over you. Not really. They didn't build what lives within you, and so they cannot destroy it. They didn't plant the seeds of your strength, your character, or your peace, and so they cannot uproot them. What you've built within your soul, the calm, the clarity, the resilience, is untouchable. It cannot be stained by their rumors, shaken by their laughter, or defined by their narratives. Their perception of you is shallow, incomplete, and rooted in projection. It may echo loudly for a time, but the truth does not need to shout. It survives. It waits. And when the dust settles, when the noise fades, when the masks fall away, the truth is still standing. And so are you. But while they dance in their moment of delusion, never forget, life is watching. Life is not blind, and it does not forget. Life sees everything. It sees the lies they've told, the pain they've caused, the lives they've affected with their actions. It doesn't forget the harm they've done, nor does it forget the moments where they've chosen dishonor over integrity, cruelty over kindness. Life keeps track of every action, every word, every intention, and while it might not act on your timeline, it never forgets. So while they bask in the fleeting satisfaction of thinking they've won, let karma write the ending. You don't need to take matters into your own hands. You don't need to fight fire with fire, to match their bitterness with your own anger, or to prove them wrong with your words. You don't need to seek retribution or try to settle the score. Instead, let life handle it. Let the universe do what it always does. Bring balance where imbalance has been created. Let the truth reveal itself, not in the chaos of your defense, but in the quiet unfolding of time. If this resonates with you, share your thoughts. In the comments, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update.